pressione fra i campioni, ma è perfetto, perché noi sotto pressione prosperiamo.
One battlefield, one core, one chance to prove who reigns in Predecessor. There will be no rematches. There will be no excuses. You win or you watch your flag fall.
Bring it on. Bring it back.
Bring it home.
Good afternoon, Predecessor fans from around the world. Welcome one, welcome all to day 2 of the Nations League here on the Predecessor Game channel. I'm TJ DJ. I've got the one and only HD Philly B alongside me for the first games of today. Philly, how are we feeling this game 2? I mean, day one was amazing. What's day 2 gonna be like?
Oh, I'm so hyped for day 2 just because my boy's in Italy. I got my Ferrari hat on just to support them. I got my green shirt over here to rep them. But today we're working on Group C. I'm repping Switzerland, okay? I got the red and the white together, TJ. So this is going to be an electric group.
Absolutely no biases coming in from us on the desk at least, but we're going to have some fantastic Predecessor action, bringing you all of the action from Group C and Group D today. Just before we go into that, we have got a few little housekeeping bits that we need to do as well, and a reminder for everyone that we did have the Nations League pick'ems. They are closed, so keeping an eye on our predictions on the Pred.gg website. That's going to be absolutely awesome. We've got some giveaway codes. We've got some goodies for you, so if you go into the Predecessor client, you type in I believe the code is NL26W1. You can get yourself 5 ion cores and also a victorious spring banner for yourself. And if you have someone level 10 account and below just starting their Predecessor journey, then use code WELCOMENL. That will be running the entire event this weekend and next weekend. Get yourselves 3 heroes, Boris, Twin Blast, and Lieutenant Bellica, and 8,600 amber. Get you started on your Predecessor journey. The NL26W1 code is only going to be available for today, so make sure you redeem it in time. Philly, there was a lot of talking here, but what have we got in store for today, and also just the Nations League group stage as a whole?
100%. Yeah, let's take a look at the groups, because in day 1 we went through Group A and Group B, so we'll take a look at the victors from both of those squads. And if you're pick'ems, you know, you have to say how many teams would be 3-0 in their groups, and I think I said +3 or 3 at the max. So hopefully we've got France who wins it out, and I know Group D is going to be crazy, but we look at Group A, and UK just dominated out there, as to be expected from the reigning champs, the Netherlands. However, I know Rosemary, a couple other folks are like, now these guys are going to be good, and they showed up yesterday. They crushed Canada and Austria. It looked really good.
It was a fantastic performance. We look forward to following the Netherlands on their journey throughout these teams. Of course, they both put on some great shows, and commiserations, of course, to Canada and Austria, who did fall short. But honestly, that was an incredible group. And speaking of incredible groups, Group B, Germany, Saudi Arabia, USA, and the European Union, that collaboration of some of the players that did not get picked up for their home nations. Of course, Germany, incredibly strong seed 1 team showing up. Saudi Arabia also putting on a massive performance, knocking out the US top team, and also that EU team as well. But again, very entertaining games.
100%. And I actually loved that EU squad. Every game was very close. It was just like one minor mistake here or there that led to some advantages. There was Sam the Man in the offlane bullying NS Blue. I mean, there were some great interactions between these teams. But let's take a look at Group C, because that is where we will start our day, TJ. And we have France. They were the Nations League 1 winners, and they have some of the best players in the world. Mancu, Morose, Neft. Like, these are guys that you know from the scene. But I'm also looking at Germany B. I mean, you've got Leader Lappin, Proper Clean, Richter, Deckinger Dan. These are guys that are at the top of the top in the EU region.
Yeah, it is going to be absolutely incredible for sure. I mean, Team France was coming in here, Nations League 1 champions, and then made it all the way to the second grand finals to face off against Team UK. And we saw what happened in that hype video. Of course, it's 1-1 to them in the finals. They want revenge. UK want to reclaim it here. But for France, they still need to get through Group C. And of course, with the other teams, Germany, Very strong team, another roster lineup. I mean, we look at the Germany B roster, it's like, how on earth is this the B team? Because this is practically the A team. It's incredible already.
They have so many lethal players, clinical players, tacticians from that country. That's why I love the Nations League, because it gets another reason to highlight all of these players. But let's take a look at the rosters, because Switzerland, these are players you may not know, but TJ, I know you have some insight about.
Yeah, of course. So we had for our Swiss players, we had, I think it was 3 or 4 players signed up, but they just needed 1 or 2 extra players to make their full roster. So they brought on some players from their surrounding countries to help them out. Of course, big one, Phoenix. First of all, if you know anything about, keep an eye on the ranked leaderboards. This is a name that you will know, of course, being picked up to represent Switzerland, not representing their home country of France as well. Linkin Park and Twisted Maddoxy, Feds as well, and Rock is their team captain. This is a team not to be underestimated, shall we say, as we go into these games.
Yeah, it could be another like Netherlands type of deal, right? We're just like, wait a second, could these guys be nasty? And then they show up. But like we talked about, we highlighted Germany D pretty extensively. Those are names you've all seen before. They've played in the PCC. They've played in your Paragon rank lobbies on the leaderboard. They stream like Proper Clean, one of my favorite EU streamers. Love that guy. So very hype for this game today. But as we go in, TJ, we've actually got a couple of interviews, buddy, and this time it's from Team Germany B.
Well, obviously, from our perspective, we will all be doing our best, and to every other team, I wish everyone the best of luck. Hope we all have fun, and I think this is actually going to be a great tournament. My name is Lederlappen, and I'm playing for Team Germany. My teammates are Proper Clean, Rickstar, Dialva, Tutan Shamin, and Dreckiger Dan. It has to be Dan. Dan is very easily tilted. If he doesn't like the state of the game, he's running it down. I'm kind of excited to play against Scandinavia. Their team looks interesting. And also, obviously, the Germany 1 team. I think maybe not the French, because I think France might have the strongest team, to be honest. And Left is a scary person. Probably Remy. I have to call out Remy. There's too much shit going on with Remy at all times. I mean, I don't have anything personally against Remy, but we know the beef, we know the stuff. There's a lot of things going on with Remy in ranked specifically, because everybody talks about him stream sniping and stuff, just so he gets as much VP as he can and get that rank 1. At least he's not hiding it. He's being honest about it. They don't have a support main, but specifically to Maya and Shin, they just have to swap between the drafts and whoever gets played on mid. But in my opinion, they should just put Shin on support full time, because Maya is in fact the better mid laner. And also to Venom, don't miss your smites, please. Bring it on.
Bring it on. The final words there from Lederlappen. Of course, Germany being a very terrifying team to go to there. I mean, Philly, what do you make of that interview?
I loved it. I love some of the shout outs, some of the insider knowledge, saying Meyer is the better mid laner. We saw what he could do on the Argus in the PCC Spring Open Qualifier. That guy is a menace in the mid, but Shin, no slouch either. And we've been seeing a lot of that in terms of the positional swaps. So when you play for your club team and you play for your nation, sometimes you have to make those adjustments, as there are people who really only maybe play one role. You have to modify how you formulate your squad just to make sure everybody gets a spot where they can excel.
Absolutely. And of course, we have to remind you all that this is going to be a best of ones here in the groups, a round robin. So you got to make sure that, you have your game plan formulated, because with the nature of the round robin, with the nature of the group stage, one win, one core destruction could be the difference between making it into the playoffs and also elimination, not having a spot at that $1,000 prize pool that we have put up. Big shout out to Amada for providing that support for us. Huge props to you all here. So Billy, we've had some talks, of course, about the players, the teams going into this one. I think it's time that we discuss the draft, really. So let's talk about heroes. Let's talk about our expectations for what we have been seeing in these games.
Oh, this is definitely my favorite part of any predecessor game is the P's and B's. We've been seeing a lot of the Wraith taken off the board, the Rampage, but really the character that's made it through a lot is the Yurei. And this is a curious thing for me. That just means that there's other characters that are so much more prioritized or more impactful that people feel, or they think that they can handle the Yurei, which nobody can handle the Yurei. So I don't know why people are letting it through, but apparently that's still the case. I would love to see proper clean on the Zarus. He is so good on that character. We haven't seen the Gladiator really too much through the games we've streamed, but I would love to see. That's one of my favorite characters. I got the plushie. You should get the plushie too, but I hope to see the Lizard at some point today.
It is a very cool plushie, I gotta say, and I'm also a little bit, not gonna say disappointed, because I do like Zarus. He has a very flashy kit, you know, big engage, big team fight presence as well, but also he might have been in my pick'ems as well for like the most picked hero, and we just haven't seen him at all. So I'm fuming. I am molding behind the scenes as I watch these drafts unfold, and like, where is my Lizard right now? But anyway, enough of that here, at least. But yeah, I like how you talk about the Yurei as well, because I feel like, you know, this is a pick that's been kind of contested between jungle and the offlane position as well, and I feels like that's the I won't say the pattern that's been emerging here, that a lot of these games are decided by junglers getting ahead and some domination inside of the side lanes.
There's so much pressure that can be created from the offlane, right? There's a few ways to do this. If you push in your opposing member, take their tower down early, that gives you free roam around the map. You can maybe get it mini prime, go for an invade on the opposing jungle. So I love the way that teams are working through the offlane to create advantages around the map. But enough about the macro strategy. We've got the micro strategy, and that is the X's and O here, TJ. It'll be the Germany team B with the first ban.
I mean, and also for the first time we see this on broadcast today as well. This is a live draft taken in from the Fred.gg drafting site as well. So these timings are all live. We know if a pick gets instant picks, and we also know if a team wants to hold and go into that 20-second bonus pot as well. But Acheron being the first ban, not something that we saw very often, but already the Yurei taken off the board as well. So it still seems to be that it's jungle and offlane. You see where these teams want to hit the most.
And TJ, I'm glad you highlighted about the timers, because that caught me off guard yesterday when I was on the desk with Brownkin. There was like 6 picks and bans going off really quick. We were like, what is happening, Cashy? What are you doing? Big just was like, that's not me, dude. That's the players going that fast. But these guys, a little more tactful, waiting for their opportunity. Might dipping into the bonus pot. Here they go. Another ban. I know. I was about to say it's going to be the Zarus, and there it is. Gosh, dang it. My pickups, they're screwed, TJ.
Oh, no, you're telling me at this point here. But Zarus takes away, just carrying on that pattern as well. But we're not seeing any attention towards the mid lane, that dual lane as well. So some big power picks here. Rampage, again, hitting that jungle consistently within the ban phase as well. Not actually going to sound to me like, you know, we need some priority towards the picks, because we have got third bans coming in halfway through this draft as well. Aurora going to be locking for Germany B, though. Again, another hero we're expecting to see a lot of. The Ice Queen certainly making her appearance on the map and making her presence known.
I was hoping it was going to be for Switzerland. I mean, it just feels right. You know, the Alps, everybody's skiing down. You got the frost. Maybe that's my Italian bias. They're our neighbors to the north. So, but either way, the Aurora hotly contested. If she's not banned, she's picked first up. And the Mako and the Boris, TJ. We've been seeing the bear a lot throughout this tournament. People are picking him up, whether it's in the offlane or the jungle. Jungle's better. Hopefully that's where we find him here today.
Yeah, maybe less said about the offlane Boris, the better. But it just goes to show that if you go down to your jungle today, you're not going to be in any surprise whatsoever to see the bear. Boris seems to be the big EU pick at the moment. We also, very interestingly, saw, you know, Canada and also the US teams just did not fancy the bear at all, to be honest. So very much an EU pick here, and also something different. That's a phase coming out here as well. I mean, Duralane has been picked up here. The Mako's going to pick up here. There's also, like, we've got the Richter, again, another power pick. I don't think either team's really going to go for it this time around, just with the phase and the Mako picked up here as well. I think it could be interesting to see what the mid laners are going to be, though.
Yeah, you've been highlighting that a good deal, and we've been seeing... we haven't been seeing the Neon. We've been seeing a lot of the Howitzer, which has been interesting. And I was expecting the Sparrow. Once you see phase, usually Sparrow is what we counter that with. And I've been seeing a lot of Sparrow in the NA side to counter Eden, because us NA players, we love to be aggressive and fight and brawl. But the mid lane finally does get selected. It will be the Gideon, which I think Gideon is just overall, he's good. He has good escapability if teams aren't as coordinated. If they do get ganked in the mid lane, he can just get out by himself. You don't have to have those rotations. So I like the fact that they pick up the Gideon here first.
It's just a super safe pick as well, and also, as you said, Philly, you've got the damage, you've also got the mobility as well. If you're expecting rotations, right, from this Aurora with just so many ways to lock you down with the wall, with the Hoarfrost, with that ultimate as well, that torn space, your get out of jail free card, we know that is a cooldown that is going to be monitored incredibly closely. But with 3 picks on either side, we go into another Vans Ray. First ADC pickup taken away there, and we know that on Germany B, Richter is on this roster. You know that he is a very nasty Wraith player as well, so that feels a bit targeted to me.
But is he going to play that in the mid? Unless they're not going to go double.
He's done it.
He's done it. Okay. Just a double carry composition is a little spooky, especially if you have a Boris on the other side who wants to be aggressive, has that really strong early game, can take those objectives quickly. So peculiar that they ban out the Wraith and kind of limit their own ADC pool, or carry pool rather. But I would imagine they go for the Murdoch here. That's a very strong pick. And very good in lane, helps with the Mako. So that's what I'm expecting from that.
You also have that potentially looking for the combination as well as combining with any form of CC, but no, Switzerland not going to go for the Doc though. Windblast going to be picked up here. I think we only saw it once yesterday on broadcast and didn't really look amazing. So let's see if Switzerland are able to bring out the best from the dual wielding carry that is a Twinblast. And of course, Germany B looking to round out the composition. We're expecting mid and off lane are going to be their picks here.
Twinblast, man, I just don't like. I mean, I love the character when I'm playing him in the lane because I'm a bad laner, so it's like it works for me. But his ultimate is just so freaking bad, and if you're trying to 1v1 this Sparrow, you're gonna get cooked immediately. We do transition over to the mid lane, and we will see the Neon. Thank goodness. I was looking for this character. We have the great intro stinger and all that stuff. As much as the Howitzer is wonderful, this character is dynamic, and I love to see it. So a very strong burst composition coming out here from Germany.
I mean, emphasis on the burst. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. I could definitely say, like, you know, in my ranked games, in my quick play games, this Neon just absolutely evaporates me. And we've also seen it on the highest stages here in competitive predecessor. This Neon pick combining with an aggressive jungler as well is such a nasty pickup, and a Grux as well. I feel like this guy has been banned a couple of times. I don't think we've seen him as often here as well. But I'm looking at this incredibly powerful composition. You've got the burst, but also so much engage as well from this Grux, from this Aurora.
And they need to engage quickly because they don't really have too much of a front line unless they itemize, but then they limit their damage potential. The Aurora, they could go what I call the Creed style, where it's more like he's an NA jungler, he's a defensive utility, but this is going to be, I think, more initiation aggressive. But the counter dive extraordinaire himself, that is Mr. Steve the Steel. This is a perfect X Factor pick. This is most likely going to go into the off lane just to hold it down. But if you try to get dove upon, you just shield slam everybody, and it's a counter. And the tables have turned. This is a wonderful pick. I love this from Switzerland.
It really just feels like it's a bodyguard pick all of a sudden, right? You know, you've got the peel to protect your character well, but also the counter punch, you know, all of a sudden using that shield slam to kind of re-engage the fight here, because granted, you pick a lot of the burst, you pick a lot of the almost glass cannons on the side of Germany B as well, but if you're able to find a nasty shield slam with the Boris combination, Mako strike as well from that roaming support, this Sparrow, as if this phase is not going to be on point with pulling back, with saving their Sparrow, that's just the carry gone. That's this Neon. If you can just take her out of the sky, put her on the ground, and stun her, she's also just gone in the blink of an eye. So it's a very good response, I think, to what Germany B are cooking.
Without a doubt. And this is it's a this team fight ultimate style from Switzerland. They want to get on objectives first with this Boris, right? We know how quickly he can take that early Fangs, early mini primes, etc. And then if they do get engaged upon, they have the steel to protect, the Mako strike to heal everybody up, stun them. They might go for that augment, etc. Whereas the flip side, it is that burst. So this two wonderful different styles coming out from both of these neighboring nations. This is going to be a wonderful match, TJ.
It's certainly got all of the makings in. Just before we throw to our casters, Philly, I've got to ask for a little bit of some cheeky predictions as well, just going into this. That steel might have just been the only thing that changed there. If they get the third Fangtooth at that pick, all of a sudden, this is a very different game. They could even just go on to win it here, but Dialwa steps up when needed, gets to secure, and then Germany B still have to execute, right? They still have to clean up the game and go towards that base, pulling apart Switzerland, and a clinical end towards there in that final siege.
Nah, I mean, what a game this was. I think for the first game of the Group C, first game of day 2, I don't think we could have hoped for a better matchup. Was close until the very end, and Germany B proving once more that they are a team that can go super far in this tournament.
Absolutely, they've got their eyes set on that playoff bracket next weekend. Still 2 more games to come from Group C. That's all going to be it from us here on the casting booth. It's time to go back to the desk for the post-game breakdown. Thank you, TJ. Welcome back, everyone, to the host desk here for that post-game breakdown of that match that we just saw. Germany B take on Switzerland, and a clinical end to the game, and a first win for Germany B, Philly.
TJ, we got to nominate you for some esports awards or something. Full of double duty for this. Absolute legend. But
We
that
do what
game
we do, yeah.
had it all. As Tang stated, I mean, I was taking note after note. We had jungle invade, support rotation, tactics in the off lane, huge contests over the Fangtooth, steals on those objectives. I mean, I was glued to my screen, folks. I hope you were too. Absolutely nuts stuff from these squads.
I did say on the cast, prime time entertainment here on the BSS Game channel. An absolute cinema there for that first game, Philly. I mean, you said it all. That game had everything, right? I think they had crazy starts coming out from Switzerland, trying to catch off Germany B, and they went for it. They absolutely committed to the bit on all of those regards there. But Germany B kind of impressed me, though. They seemed to kind of weather the storm, not take too many losses, and keep themselves from descending into this carnage.
Yeah, and this is something really important for esports in general, is learning how to play from behind, or understanding the ebb and flow of the match, where your timings are at, and how to get there in a good way. But let's take a look at these teams head-to-head, TJ. This is a lot of stuff, but that KDA, immaculate from Germany. It was just the participation. They were working together as a unit to secure those kills.
I mean, as they have to work around as a unit as well, because this was such a low kill game as well. It was 5-4. Really, all of the kills happening right at the end of the game there as well. Very late for that first blood came early. Then it was a massive gap between then and as well, but really showcasing, as I say, Philly, Germany B working together, playing around each other, playing around their composition as well, and also getting the damage down as well. And speaking of the damage, Leader Leppen really awarded as the MVP of that game.
Yeah, Stranger, our head admin, was like, Philly, what's the MVP? And I immediately thought of this guy. I mean, the Sparrow has to carry you through the late game, and absolutely did. Couple triple kills in here for the Sparrow. It just could not be contested. Anybody that tried to dive him was just getting obliterated by those arrows. So just well done. Relentless was the Archer.
Oh, absolutely. Just getting those stacks there as well, providing that damage, because as we highlighted in that draft as well, this was such a squishy composition, right? If Leader Leppen's not able to provide that damage, if all of a sudden Switzerland are able to dive with the Boris, I mean, they tried, they went for it multiple times, but Leader Leppen able to fight out of every situation, find those kills, find that damage as well. The big result as well. Because we have to give a shout out to Dialwa as well, probably the SVP, perhaps there, the second place valuable person for that objective steal. But we got a few replays of that game as well, just so we can all recap what happened in that first game. So what's our first replay here, Philly?
Yeah, this is going to be a gank on the duo
absolutely.
leg. A dank gank, TJ. And this is because you want to get the Twin Blast, who's out of position, trying to push this tower, get some of the plates down, and Leader Loppin putting some arrows into the back. But this is where I want to pause it. The Mako strike there, allowing the Twin Blast to get out. And this is why Twin Blast is a good laner, not great in the late game, but in the lane fine, because he has escapability options to get out of dodge in some of these situations. But there were also the Bear is right here. He's going to make his presence known in just a second, so we'll let the replay finish it out. But there's Twisted trying to crunch some people in the back, just taking everybody down the ventilate too, and gets out of dodge with this. I mean, fantastic work from the Boris and a great cleanup from the Swiss.
Absolutely. I mean, just going up against the team play coming out from Germany B of Switzerland. I mean, if the buzzword there is team play, I mean, we saw it early on with their rotation. I mean, Tang was saying that it's most likely Rock on the IGL duty, making those calls, and the rest of the team following along there as well. But you're seeing team play from them. Switzerland, they go into this one as the third seed. I think they were the Pool C team being drawn into this one, but playing like that, you know, they stand a good chance. It was a really good performance there. And as this game goes on, we're going to jump to 18 minutes. We've got ourselves a Fang Tooth contest, Philly. What happened here?
And I actually really like this. I'm going to start it off just to prep, like I'm going to pause it. Sorry, Cassie, just to prep us here. If we take a look at the ultimates, right? There's not many of their big impactful ones. No inner fire, no cryoseism, things like that. On the flip side, they just have the shield slam that is the most impactful. Ventilate, we all know sucks, so it doesn't matter. But shield slam, super good. So let's take a look at how this goes. The supports playing in front of the pit, allowing the Bear to do his work. But the rest of the team is following through. You'll wait for the counter engage, which happens right there. Boom, shield slam onto 2. The other thing that I didn't like from the Swiss here is they sacrificed 2 players to get out. When you have a Gideon, folks, you torn space out the back. More space out the back, everybody can follow through, and you get all of your players out. You don't have to sacrifice anything. Because they lose 2, that gives so much space to Germany to take other objectives across the map. So just a tiny bit of a misplay. Yes, they get the objective, but they give up so many kills on the back end, TJ.
It could have been a lot cleaner, as you say there. It's just allowing them to get in, and also just kind of playing away from the strength of their composition, right? You know, they group up together, they kind of death ball around, but immediately Germany B split the fights. They kind of isolate the 2 members. I think fair play to Switzerland is like, you know, they're in a bad situation, but they make the most of it, right? Is they kind of say, okay, you guys are just gone. We need to get out. We can't afford any members to drop there. So make the best out of it there. But as you highlight, Philly, would have been a lot cleaner in that execution there. But Germany B, finding those kills, finding those moments there, just keeping this game keeping up the competition, shall we say, in this game, and it all culminates in that final fight there. Let's have a look there at the Fangtooth.
And this is a EU special, right? It's just a boiling pot, and then it explodes in one epic battle. And all the ultimates online for these squads, so you know their fireworks are about to ensue. And this is a massive steal from Diawa to just charge right in there. And where was the steal through all of this, right? And eventually makes his presence felt, but the inner fire slicing through everyone at that point. The Liberator as the crest of choice for Leader Loppin, and he secures the triple kill. That was basically the nail in the coffin that gave all of the space for Germany B to take the rest of the objectives around the map. So just clean from them to understand the tactics of what Switzerland was trying to do. They wanted to be on objectives first with the Boris, and then how to counter engage their engage. So just well worked from Germany B.
They had to play this game near enough to perfection, really, to be put on the back foot so early on. They could not afford any mistakes there to allow Switzerland to kind of, you know, get that lead and start to snowball it. You know what can happen when the Boris takes over the game and is able to just move around. All those death balls, all of a sudden, they're not just finding 1 kill, they're finding 2, they're finding 3, and this game just falls away from you. So massive props to Germany B to at least close out the game there. And we can have a look at how round 1 ended there. Of course, the other game was going on there. France versus US B, their second team as well. And this was a French victory there. So both France and Germany B taking the first wins in round number 1. Switzerland and US B need to start picking up some wins to stand a chance of getting it to next weekend's playoff bracket.
And if I am to believe Stranger, USB's loss to France was maybe one of the quickest matches so far. So if you pick that as your pick'ems, good for you. But I believe we'll see Switzerland, and I bet. You've got the crystal ball over there, TJ, for sure. And I believe Switzerland versus USB will be our next match, and both of these teams desperate for a win.
That should be such an entertaining game to watch. You know, if Switzerland bring that same energy into this one, it's like, okay, USB all of a sudden...
Doch selbst das Licht erreicht mich nicht. Es flackert kurz, dann bricht es ein. Und ich bleib hier für mich allein. Ich wollt nur, dass du fühlst wie ich, doch du bleibst still und fern von mir. Ein letzter Blick, er trifft mich tief. Und alles, was ich war, verzieh. Du siehst mich nicht, doch ich seh dich.
Gamers, we are back for another day of predecessor play. It's your boy Ego, signing a little bit late, but here alongside the man, the myth, the legend. I like to see him in 4K. It's going to be HD Philly. How we feeling, man?
Hey, I learned from the best, brother. That's you. And we're having a fantastic time out here in the EUC. Yeah, you get all the glaze, brother, all the glaze. But two teams that we want to glaze, especially us NA stands, is USB, headed by Kev KO Ken. They are up against now going against the Swiss.
I do want to glaze them in. I want to show them all the love. You can't see my F6 American flag behind me, but I think this is going to be an incredibly tight one, man, especially after what we saw of them in that first game. Kind of getting sped around a little bit there. They're going to have to make some serious adjustments coming up against this Switzerland team that feels so objective-oriented.
100%, and just the tempo that the Swiss brought, I was not expecting them to play that fast. If they just pick a different carry to shore up their late game and help them in some of those fights, I think they have a really good squad on their hand. And just the way they work together as a team, some of those jungle invades early on, incredible stuff, and that takes a lot of communication to coordinate.
Speaking of them having a good roster on their hands, Philly, why don't we go take a look at him? Switzerland going to be bringing in a little bit of extra sauce from what we saw. They are extremely confident. And for the people who may not know, maybe tune in a little bit late on the Switzerland side, Philly, can you let them know who to keep their eye out on?
Twisted was playing the Boris, absolutely phenomenal on that character, just annihilating people, taking 1v1s, great escapability, so slippery is he. So yeah, that's the guy I'm keeping my eye on for sure. On USB, these are names that you know: Mama Joe, a good buddy of mine on the Nightshade server, Kev KO Ken, the best community guy out there, streamer, club player, just a fantastic lad. And then AP Tandro, one of my boys too. So I love this squad on USB.
I know it's not the most exciting thing in the world. This is maybe the most vanilla take at the Baskin Robbins. I'm going to be looking closely at Kev KO Ken because he has so much experience within the comp scene. I'm going to be looking at him to make plays that orient around this team, being able to scale out, win, and turn those leads into a W. Something we know that some more novice, newer teams to comp can fundamentally struggle with. That being said, man, as far as it goes, this is going to be a banger of a set for the heads-to-heads. I kind of want to get in your head, Philly. Is there anything you feel like either team needs to do pre-draft in order to be able to potentially lock down an advantage going into this game?
They got to wrap up the jungle. They got to make sure that Twisted is not unleashed. And we saw that in the draft against Germany of how many offlane and jungler picks were prioritized. But we'll take a look at the head-to-head, and this will be the support players. That's my favorite position. And Rake just on this Mako was rotating constantly. They were in the opposite side jungle, helping out the Boris with an invader. We're like, how did you even get over there? This guy was speeding across the map, where Mama Joe is more sturdy, more lane-oriented, wants to help his carry excel and just brawl a little bit. That's more that NA style. So I'm looking for these two to match up. It's going to be electric.
I mean, take a look at the biggest advermans. That's going to be this gold as well. And the damage, dude. You said that Morn. I mean, he has his roots planted generally in lane, where Mako, he's a wanderer, man. If Ray can replicate that, this could be a very oppressive game if they do get that Mako. That being said, it's only partially the character, it's also partially play style. Do you anticipate if Rake maybe doesn't get that Mako, we could see kind of the vintage rotator, like a Decker being played around?
I think so. I think there's just always that mentality of like, if I want to rotate, that's what I'm going to do. And in this meta, over the last 2 months or so, the supports are instrumental in those rotations, helping out their mid laners secure the river bugs. They can burst their and win their 1v1s, helping out their jungler with some of those invades, contesting seedlings, things of that nature. So you do want a very mobile support that also has some of that lockdown and things like that. So yeah, I would imagine if Mako is taken off the board, Decker's probably short to follow.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen the evolution of some of the characters. Mako being able to exceed and excel speed-wise, making some of those rotations, but Decker does offer some degrees of things that Mako doesn't, that they exchange for that safety in Mako's kit. The ability to be able to quite literally confine the opponent, lock down space can be valuable when playing around the pit. Something for this Switzerland team that can be pretty solid. That being said, P's and B's, we may be rolling into those sooner rather than later. Philly. But before that, we're going to tell you what these teams are thinking. We're going to be sending it off to USAB.
But one thing I can promise you guys is that USAB will be making these games super fun, even if we're a little downgraded, but we're going to be out here like just making it a fun viewing. So don't forget to show us on stream, all right? Hello, everybody. My name is Kev Kaioken, and when I'm playing for USAB, I'm representing USA as team captain. The ones that I have selected to represent USAB would be Tax, Sleek, Mama Joe, Supermeds, and Meow. Yes, sir. So from last time, this is going to be more of an English-speaking team. Last time it was a lot of Spanish-speaking in the background, yeah, man, I miss my old squad. But I think this squad is now going to be a little more comfortable for me, since this is kind of like what I'm used to and these days, you know. It will be M's team because I look up to him, and definitely would just be awesome to be able to share that battlefield with that team. Let me just go ahead and put Import's name out there. I'm going to call out Import. I'm going to let him know that I'm coming for that spot, and he better bring the heat. If we do somehow end up going against each other, I want Import.
Anybody can get these hands.
Yeah, so we do have kind of a hard group to go against. We have Germany B, and we have France, of course. These are like some of the probably most difficult teams that we can go against. But I think for a successful run for USAB would definitely be us getting a win against either of them, and just getting that confidence boost that we need in order to move over to top 8. If we can successfully move over to top 8, then I think we have a pretty decent chance to at least, go against one of the top tier teams. Thank you so much for supporting us. We're going to try our best. We are here to represent our side of the world. I'm just excited to be a part of it. USB. Bring it home.
Having the USB fly across incredible touch. Shout out to Cash, who working everything on the background. Philly, we were talking about Kev Kaioken and what he's going to be able to bring to this team with some of his experience. He's also bringing a sense of humor, and in return, we're going to be bringing him a little game on stream. It's going to come down to this. Down 0-1 on both sides, man. Playing it in Switzerland, we've always talked a little bit about what they need to do. Do you have any ideas on what you feel they need to draft to maybe give themselves an edge?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. With Kev playing in the jungle, I haven't seen that much from him, right? Normally he's in the carry role, playing a lot of those characters. So on the jungle, you have to make him feel comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. What is going to help him make sure he secures the jungles, get these easy rotations, easy ganks to help his other laners out, because he has to lead this team, and he is going to be all around the map trying to facilitate the rest of them. Not that they can't win their lanes on their own. These are great players, but having your jungle there for support is going to be instrumental. So I want Kev to be comfortable on a pick. So look for them to kind of help that, right? Protect it in the draft. And then I think the mid lane is the next priority for them. Helping with super meds in the mid lane, that's going to be their next objective.
Ever so consistent, right? The mid and jungle combo. That being said, there's only so much we can talk about it before we have to be about it. 3 bans going either way. The first ban coming out on the side of Sweden is actually going to be this Yuri, who's going to get knocked out.
And I was just talking to Spooky right before this. He was munching on breakfast. He was just through his chews. He was like, I don't see Ure anymore. And it's good because we're seeing this back-to-back bans and you love it. And then the Richter has gained priority stock value over the last few patches, and the Warden will be off the board in this one. I like that because USB, they could be a little bit tricky, but on ping, maybe the Richter not so much. So I don't know. It's good stuff.
And between the 2 and 3, we're going to be actually looking a little bit vegan here. A lot of beef going to get taken off the board with the Rampage to be able to follow it up. We know that Rumble has been nerfed to a degree, but I mean, having 8 quadrillion health is never bad, especially when you can play around some of the CC. No longer to be able to layer it as easily with the Rampage going through, and the Seraph also banned out. But some of the buffs who were numbers in the previous patches and the incoming nerfs, it's not the most surprising. Something maybe I'm a little bit more surprised about is going to be this Wraith pickup on 1.
I mean, we've been seeing Wraith a lot throughout this tournament, whether in the first phase of the picks or in the first phase of the bans. But this, you're right, as the 1, this is interesting because now your opener for USB, they can kind of go against this. They can find a way to get into this backline and take this Wraith down. Maybe they go for the Boris, which we've been seeing a lot of. They will go for the Steel first. And Ego, as a reminder, this is a live draft, so we are seeing the picks come through as the players are clicking them. And the Zarus, yes! Hype to see the Gladiator now on the battlefield.
I am also very excited to see him. It also kind of plays to a synergy that we've discussed between me time and time again. Big circles normally gives you big value. Between that Coliseum and that Steel Slam, this is a pretty easy first 2 picks that aren't exactly easily counterable. I do like him into the Wraith as well, being able to potentially just lock him out of the fight. But to respond to that, the Acheron going to be locked in on the 2.
Yeah, and this is a good opener from USB because it is very flexible. Steel can go off lane, jungle, support. Zarus could technically go all 3 as well. The Acheron we see normally in the off lane can flex into the jungle, but his clear is slow before he gets to like level 6, 7, 8 kind of range. So I don't know if they want to do that because their tempo is what helped them through the previous match against Germany. A Muriel pick here to combo with the Wraith is interesting. That leads me to believe they want to go more dive heavy, maybe help that Boris if it gets through to the draft.
I do really like this Muriel pick, especially as a potential counter. I mean, that reversal of fortune, it's in the name, right? If you do get that big Steel Loth or Zarus Coliseum, it's going to buy you something that's going to be invaluable in Wraith. That's going to be a little bit more time to maneuver your way out. Wow, USB, man, they're keeping it standard here. Going to be able to pick the gadget, that microwave combo tried and true.
Oh, that's heating up for USB. I love it. The microwave plugged in. This is perfect, and it's ease of execution, right? And I think that's great tactics from the side of USB. If you're playing on ping, maybe you haven't had a lot of time to scrim together. What is something that we all know, we've all played before, and it's the microwave comp. And this is just you layer the ultimates, boom, boom, boom. Hopefully, you can win the team fight clean, and then you can get your objectives or roll into the tower, whatever it is. So I love this. But now for the ban side, I think they should go for the Boris here. I really think that this keeping the tempo of Switzerland down is going to be the key.
Instead, they're going to opt for the Aurora. Solid pick. I mean, we have seen her get really strong within recent patches, especially ever since the augment allowed that Hoarfrost to be put on the side of the Glacial Charge. Could be a potential counter to a back end dive coming out of the Zarus with the Coliseum. That being said, I actually do agree with you, man. I kind of wish that was a Boris instead. Aurora at times can feel a little bit more manageable, but outside of that, Switzerland going to be knocking down the Kwang.
I the more I'm thinking about it, the Aurora makes sense. It's a good team fighter, right? Splitting the battlefield, the Glacial Charge, the Cryoseism. So Boris is really single target, that sort of thing. So I like taking the Aurora off the board. But now we go here for USB. They're looking for their carry, potentially a support. The Sparrow has been good, but that would be too much scaling because Gadget needs to scale. Zara scales a touch, so you need something that's a little bit more front forward. So maybe an Eden would be beneficial. We know NA loves that side, and there you go.
Eden locked in. We know how proactive, I should say, this character can be. One of the great one tricks of the NA Cure says he very much so likes his character because it allows you to kind of overextend and exert yourself more than other carries can. And into this comp where you do have a still more poke-oriented Wraith, this Muriel who's going to be able to give you protections on some of these trades. Maybe that's exactly what we want to see coming out of this team, and that is Eden getting a lot more active. That being said, fourth, nearly final pick is going to be coming out, and the Belica is going to be finding her way to the battlefield.
Yes, this is most likely going to be in mid. I mean, because we've seen Muriel mid, we've seen Wraith mid, but Belica's the actual mid laner. Okay, yeah, that'll definitely put the nail in the coffin for it. She's got an interesting bell curve when it comes to her power spikes throughout the lane. Hey, Bell with the bell. But against the Gadget, I mean, she can run up on, like, one seismic assault, you can run up on her, get a couple of shots, so her trades go in her favor. This Sevrog, though, I like, but that's slow once again in the jungle. So will you put it in the off lane? There's some more scaling there. I think Switzerland's kind of flipped their style from game one against Germany, and now it's a little slower from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I kind of also like this a lot, right? We were talking about it within the P's and B's beforehand, how we wanted to see them kind of roll in as the Murdoch. My apologies.
I was about to say, you see
bamboozled, aghast. The Murdoch is actually going to get locked in on
USB in a very heavy deficit. Remember, on ping as well, they have the inherent sort of disadvantage already, and they were still able to really fight back against the Switzerland team. That looks really scary, TJ. I don't think many people were actually having them on the radar, but having something like Phoenix, first of all, there on that carry role, helping out the team, really pulling his weight there on the Swiss squad, showing off why he's so consistently on the top 10 rankings in the game, really increases Switzerland's strength tenfold.
Absolutely. I mean, we see what happens when Phoenix is able to get that damage down, help Switzerland over the line. That's a victory for them. That's going to be it from us here on the Casting Desk TNT, signing out. It's time to go back to the desk for the post-game breakdown.
Dang, TJ, thank you very much. Happy to have you back here. Let's call a spade, Philly. A little belt to backside for USA B there. Just dominance coming out of the opposition in Switzerland.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Switzerland. They played a great game, showing that they have multiple strategies under their belt. They can play high tempo, they can play more team fight oriented. There's a lot of different looks from this squad, and so what I'm willing to look at moving forward. I hope they make it out of this group and make it into the top 8 to go up against a lot of other members. This is a group of death for sure. With France, Germany, B, it's going to be a tall order for them to even survive.
Yeah, innumerable depth. They seemed extremely comfortable on this pivot. And a part of this does have to be said. It is because they developed a little bit of a lead here. Sevrog was free farming. We're going to get a little bit more into that later. We even got clips to show you. Before that, though, we do got this head-to-head. Switzerland, USAB. Man, I mean, just the top line in its own right, 9.67 to just a 0.76. Come on, man. We're 30-some. I'm not. That being said, dude, the dominance speaks of the numbers. It just wasn't creative. It was quantifiable how ahead Switzerland was that game.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things. I mean, Kev said it in his interview that they were going to have a lot of fun with it. Just it was going to be a good match for him. And Kev didn't play that game because everybody on the roster has to play at least one game in the group stage. So took a back seat for that one. But we'll take a look at Phoenix first of all, and 14 kills. This guy, I feel like anytime I was looking at the screen, it was like double kill for Phoenix, double kill for Phoenix. This guy just tore through the match.
It was insane. That was one of the most oppressive carry plays I think I've seen since Land 2 Hands. Once he developed the lead, he did not let it go at any degree. And the follow-up, as we did talk about in the draft, of that reversal of fortune, just to make sure he was secure within some of those early instances where they did try to get a dive onto him. I mean, it just made this guy irreputable on the Wraith. We're going to be banning it out next time. That being said, setting the tone for the game overall was an early rotation. Philly, we got some clips, right?
100%, and this one will be around the 3-minute mark where we have a rotation into the off lane against this Eden. And folks, basically, Meow never had a chance to play the game because they were just ganked in this offlane time and time again. And this is just one clip, but this happened like 6 or 7 times. And this is how you deal with a ranged offlaner. You have to bring numbers and you have to bring HP pools and just keep them down, because if they don't ever get ahead, then it's just free on your screen. It's squishy, but you have to communicate with your team and make those rotations. So yeah, just great work from Switzerland to recognize where a weak link was for USB.
And the thing is, like, we saw them out doing the best they could within their ability, but as you said, there was just so much HP that showed through multiple iterations, right? We saw another gank of a full Acheron, Sev, and if I recall correctly, the Belica came as well. And it's like, dude, what do you do into this much tank, even if you do try to all in on the Belica? That being said, something that kind of extrapolating less from the solo, more the team struggled with was dying around some of these fights. The first Fang, they do pick it up in exchange for a life and a 4 of theirs. So very much so not worth. We saw this to another degree around a Shaper, if I recall correctly, Philly.
Absolutely. And USB wanted to play around objectives. They had the circles on circles, and they were like, we have to go early on these things to make sure we can get our ultimates down. But they were just giving up kills after they took the objectives, and they couldn't get anything off of them. There's the shield slam to knock the Acheron, but the reversal of fortune to keep the beefy boy up and standing tall, even in the Tesla Dome. I mean, just the consume, just keeping him healthy, and then the teammates just fell after that. So yes, they got the Shaper, but now there's nobody in the lanes to push these seedlings down, and even Super Meds will fall here at the end, and another double kill for Phoenix. I mean, we saw this guy just double after double.
It was very much so like new objective the moment that Shaper, that thing went down. Survived, failed every single time. And that just allowed them to develop that KD lead, that gold lead. And at a point, we just saw the pressure mount up to too much. And especially the lead that did get developed onto this Wraith and Phoenix first just was insurmountable. We have a clip to show you just how powerful this character can be within the right hands.
Yeah, we named this Ban Wraith, but I also want to highlight how the circles on circles actually work in this. So I'm going to pause it, I'm going to slow it down, and I'm going to remember to unslow it down, Cash, because he always scolds me for this. But look for the shield slam. It's going to come here from Mama Joe, and he's going to pop 2, boom, gets him right there, and then the Tesla Dome right on top, which secures some of the kills, which is fantastic. They do chase down and they get the stack, but this is where the poke range from the Wraith really is at display. Because he is at a distance, these divers can't get to him, and now he can re-engage, and he's just shooting them at distance. Not even the spear can get their ego. Now the rewind will pop down the Gladiator, and then Super Mez is not long for this world. Look at the jump over the security gate as well. Just fantastic mobility from this carry. Phoenix, first of all, rising from the ashes, just killing everybody.
Dude, it's burning through the HP bars of the opposition. It feels like every piece, every gear within the machine that was this game was well-oiled and functioning perfectly. We developed the lead within the solo. Mid was steady and also making rotations into some of these fights, setting up around their CC. And then, I mean, the duo lane, we've said it time and time again at this point, Wraith, I mean, Phoenix, he was just unstoppable within that game.
100%, and that's why we've been seeing him banned a majority of in the first round in this tournament. Yeah, he can't shoot through walls anymore, but that range is so difficult to close. No matter if you have a mobility tool or not, it just hits you, and it hits like a truck either way. So fantastic from the Switzerland squad. They move to 1-1.
Yes, indeed. And now we get to take a look at the standings, ladies and gentlemen, seeing what's going to be coming up next here potentially for you. France 2-0, Switzerland going to be able to bring it back to a 1-1. Germany in the same boat. USB, man, definitely not plugged in within this game. 2 losses, yet to see the light of the victory screen. It's a pretty tough situation for the USA side.
And it's also kind of a tough situation for Switzerland too, because they go up against